smile, easy to smile, easy to smile, easy to smile.
Good day, this is Ray. Today is Saturday, May 16th, 2020. And for me, day number 67 of quarantine. And only have left the house once in those 67 days. And that was to get a back brace. Today is quiet. I spent most of the day resting up, worked all week. And actually, I wish I had a better video for you today, but actually on Thursday night, I got sick, started getting sick. Didn't have a fever, but had a very sore throat to the point where it felt like I was trying to drink fire all night long, and I was, trying to swallow my saliva. I couldn't even do that. It was so painful, and was ended up spitting all night into a cup, and it sucks. And I'd had that happen to me a couple of times in the past. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, had sort of similar symptoms, body aches and everything, and was actually concerned that I might have COVID-19. But I called my rheumatologist, and I didn't have enough of the symptoms to, come in and take the testing. And basically, what he said was, if the symptoms got worse, towards the middle end of the week, then he considered me going into the doctor to be tested for. Fortunately, it took a couple of days, but I felt better, and had about 2 weeks of nothing. And then Thursday, Friday, early Saturday, I wasn't feeling good at all. I do feel a lot better. I do have a voice now, which is great. I didn't have a voice for a couple of days there. And being immunocompromised, I guess this is the name of the game. I'm a year into my diagnosis of having lupus. Prior to the diagnosis, I was having symptoms, swollen glands, a loss of weight, and actually it affected my hearing, but my organs that were affected, my kidneys, and I thought that it affected my lungs. I'm not 100% certain of that. I have to go back and review my notes and everything, but a lot of that has gotten better. I've had 2 infusions of this medication called Rituxan, all done last year. One was done in August, the other was done in November. And hopefully I won't need that again. Could be that I need that, but each infusion lasts 8 hours. You're in the chair, you're getting fluids. Sometimes you have to get up and go to the restroom, and yeah, it's just, it is what it is. Very expensive treatments. And I remember, having to talk to my insurance company, talk to the specialty pharmacy, and find out all about that. And it was like, man, can't believe how much those things cost. And I even joked around. I said, look, instead of you pumping that stuff in my veins, I could use that money to pay off my student loans. And they laughed and then still injected me with it. And so I've had that done. So I'm not an expert on lupus, and it's something I'm learning about daily. I think because of the quarantine, I'm actually more focused on learning more about it. And there's a good book that I'm reading right now. It's not a very long book. It's called The Lupus Book, and it's written by Daniel Wallace. And I suggest if you were recently diagnosed with lupus to pick that up. It's a short read. I do have another book, and I'm probably going to talk a little bit about that. It's a very exhaustive research on the lupus, and I think to myself, I can't be an expert on everything. It's just not possible, but I can have a basic understanding of it, and to be able to have more intelligent discussion with my doctors on it. I have right now I have a primary care physician, a rheumatologist, a endocrinologist, as well as a neurologist that I see, and I'm probably going to start seeing a therapist again. So I've seen quite a few doctors. On top of that, in the past I've seen an oncologist, a hematologist, some other doctors I can't remember at this time, but that's just what it is. And I would say if you have a fear of needles, which I had a tremendous fear of needles prior to going to the hospitals multiple times, and now having multiple blood draws at each one of my doctor's visits. It is what it is. It sucks, but they're doing those blood draws to be able to make sure everything's all right. That the medications that you're taking are working properly, and any adjustments that need to be made and things of that nature. So yeah, so I'm gonna share a little story with you. If you haven't watched previous videos, I had a huge fear of needles going to the doctors. Whether it's that I'm a man and just looked at it as I'm gonna get better just by waiting on this thing to get better, and it didn't happen. And I got to the point where I was at my breaking point, and just had to go in. But I want to speak to those guys who are, and women as well. If you're afraid of going to the doctor, don't be. Just bring your questions, and you could be nervous. That's fine. You're gonna be nervous. Some of you may not be nervous, and that's cool. I wish I had that gift, but I went into the ER very nervous, and I went in there alone, and I did it. And that was first time was in September of 2018, and second time was in May of 2019, and so on and so forth. 6 hospitalizations, and became not an expert at it, but more comfortable with the environment and seeing all the different people walking around and all the different tests that you have to have. I've had a number of tests in my past 2 years, less than 2 years. MRIs, ECGs, echocardiograms, biopsies, all sorts of craziness. And it's like, man, all this stuff that they're doing in my body, and before that, didn't have any of that. So anyway, I just want to encourage you to seek out the information. Not only learn about your healthcare, but learn about health insurance and how billing works, and how you're covered with your insurance. If you need insurance, definitely look to get enrolled into insurance. I know it can be pricey, but if you think about it, the cost of health insurance is outrageous, and seek out insurance to be able to help with that. And start saving too, to be able to pay not only your deductible but your out-of-pocket maximum, and so you could be better prepared for these expenses. And in the past 2 years, I spent thousands of dollars on healthcare that I could have better saved up for, but just not knowing and not preparing, not anticipating this turn in my health. It just happened. So anyway, I hope you all are doing well, and if you get a chance to, feel free to like the video, comment below, and subscribe. And also feel free to share these with your loved ones, and be safe out there. Definitely do what you need to do to keep others safe with the coronavirus being out there, and we have no treatment for it, and we have no vaccination for it. And just keep that in mind. Wear a mask. There's nothing not manly about wearing a mask. Speaking but to men, just wear the doggone thing. I see my dad wearing a mask, my mom wearing a mask, and I imagine the rest of my family is we're all separated. But yeah, just take the proper precautions. Wash your hands. Go to the CDC website. Look up all the guidelines, and just be serious about it. And we'll get through this. I'm sure that most people who watch this video have never been through a pandemic, so this is all fairly new to us, and hopefully we're better prepared for the next pandemic. It's not just about this one, but also being prepared down the line, so that generations to come, when it's the time, they'll have all the necessary things to be able to better handle this. So anyway, coming up on 10 minutes on this video. Hope you all take care, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.